Yo, party people. All right. Awesome to be back in the office. I think I got a pretty good video for you guys today, and I'll be trading all next week. First of all, I want to say that, last week was epic. And I managed to, based on the levels that were provided every day, I managed to long the bottom of that for Friday. So obviously on Friday I collected crazy, but there I had good scalps. It's actually pretty fun trading on the phone and riding with Doug on the go around the world. But again, now I'm back in the office, so we'll be doing daily recaps, and I'll be on the train every day. But yeah, before we get into it, this is a great clip.
Win a few, you lose a few, but you keep on fighting. And if you need a friend, get a dog.
All right. So, let me start really easy. Let me pull up ES, okay? So, with any chart pattern ever, and you know that I use the 9 and the 21 pretty religiously. Here's ES, and same kind of works for SPX, but as you see, the 9 and the 21 on the 1 hour are different. So I just want to point this out, that any chart, whether we're scalping on the 5 minute, let's pull up, let's pull up a ticker here so I can show, or actually let me use SPY. For instance here, right? Bounces off the 9 and then, okay, so it held 21 and up we go again, right? And then if it loses the 9 and the 21, then we got to look for a level, and then it bounces from there, okay? So same here. I know that close was very weird, and I'll showcase my case for it, but again, this is the 1 hour chart, and ES held the 9. Now, I want you to mark this out. So pull up ES. You can do this on SPX too, but on the 1 hour, we do not, for this to run to, and I'm gonna give you my price target here for next week. For this to run to ding 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 450 by next Friday. Okay? For that to happen, we do not want to lose the support of the 21. Now, when we discussed it in the chat on Friday, it was down at 440, right? Okay? I remember we were discussing it in the chat. Now it's past 441. Okay? So, for this whole move to pan out, just like, was it 2 or 3 weeks ago, I called the massive run. Then we said top was going to be Thursday, which it ended up being. But even, that's why that next following Monday, I sold my 430 puts, because I realized they were 60% already. The pullback was going to be, pretty shallow, thankfully. And we ended up making this giant cup. Now, it was choppy on the way up, but there was this good move, and then it was kind of choppy. So the only way, at least for me, to play this was just long, way outside the money, and wait for the price to then juice the cons as closer as it got, which it did. So here, this is a classic cup and handle formation. I mean, that's a pretty symmetrical cup too, except for that one. I wouldn't want, there's two things on this chart, and this is like very basic stuff here. You see where they cross here? Okay, that's actually another pull back area we need to hold. So we're gonna mark 441.45. Okay, why? Because that's where the 9 crossed the 21. Okay, and then we went down, ding 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 ding, and then back up. So for this cup and handle, we do not want that to break. Okay, And I think once the price gets to it, the 21 is going to be up there. Now, that's not to say we're going to get this whole move down. We can also just go. But if we do get a pullback, which a cup and a handle kind of requires, we don't want to lose this. So if we get down here, what I'm going to do is at that point, you're going to be able to get these cons up here for pretty cheap, okay? Because we do have a short week. Monday's half day. Tuesday is 4th of July. And then we got Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So that means that that price really needs to move, right? So, you know, I had a great week. I had an insane week 2 weeks ago. I had an insane week 3 weeks ago. So for me, just to buy a big chunk up here and see if it hits might be the best situation that, you know, I'm toying around with or play rather. So I hope that makes sense. Okay, so that's kind of my play for this week. What supports this? Well, we got full moon on Monday. So that, you know, we already had this huge pump into the full moon. Full moon's Monday. So unless we have a huge pop on Monday that, you know, hits around 446, I don't really know what the catalyst would be. But then we start to retrace. If we start to retrace on Monday, what can also happen, and remember this, what can also happen is we chop down, although especially because we're skipping a day, we chop all the way down to Thursday, and then on Thursday we go up. I have some timing models that show that Thursday is of huge significance. So again, Thursday could be a weekly low, or it could be the top, unless this pullback is sharp. So just keep that in mind. Okay, fantastic, great. What's next? We have FOMC minutes on Wednesday, and the wording in this is going to have huge implications for the market. On Monday, we got PMI. That could either cause a pullback or that could cause us to fly. Okay, so again, my price target, you know, is still. Remember, we got that ghost candle to 453. That could be next week, but if we have a huge week, because, you know, here's the thing to remember: out of the last 34 first days of trading of July, which is going to be Monday, even though it's a half day, it's been green 30 times out of 34. So we'll see what happens with that. But then, obviously, Tuesday, I guess there's, you know, data from Europe and Asia. Wednesday, again, we got FOMC minutes. Who cares? Then we got Williams. I mean, we care about FOMC minutes, not about Williams. Sorry, Williams. And then Thursday, we get jobs. And we also have jolts. So if these are shit, that's not going to be good. And then Friday, what do we got? We got non-farm payrolls. Okay, that's gonna be pretty huge. So we got some big moves. So keep that in mind. On Monday, I'll get a range for the whole week, and on Wednesday again. So then we can kind of gauge and see if we're going to be going up or down. You know, again, no bias. Bias gets you buying is Q, you know. And here's the thing. Look, you know, I'm big on the moon and this and that, but you also got to know about cycles. And in a presidential cycle, which is, and I'm going to share this with you right now. In a presidential cycle, that's 4 years, okay? The period from, like we've had from October until beginning of June in a presidential 4-year term here is, you know, post midterms, is the most bullish period. Okay, that is what's throwing off the bears, and you know, there was a huge new amount of traders that jumped in on the bear market that we had, who got absolutely destroyed. Okay, now let's start going through the details, because it's all in the details. I like this tick setup. I know we had that huge candle, but that could be end of quarter shenanigans, because then we did get a pump right into close. Didn't reflect on the price, but you know, they saved a huge level there, which is, you know, they held on SPX. We held above the 9. SPY, you know, we closed above the 9. ES, we closed above the 9. So not that the tick is very much important, but like, let's say if the tick was down here, that would be bad. If you look at the VIX, and I got the 89 MA on here, it's still in a downtrend. Okay, let's be honest here. I mean, it's kind of evening out, but, and I know the VIX spiked, but it also spiked. Now we got a triple bottom there. So that 13 or, you know, 1290 that I was talking about many times in the chat is a significant level, and under that, the next level, I think it was 1270 something. Let's see exactly what it is. It's yeah, well, the next big one is 1243, but I know there's a level there in the 70s too. But yeah, the VIX does what the VIX, I mean, it can gap, and it's completely irrational and all this, but it works while we're trading. But again, it didn't, I mean, it closed under the area it chopped around in all day. So again, once it goes over 14, we might get a trend change, but we'll see. Okay, we'll see. It could come up on Monday. I'm not saying it won't, but again, that could be shenanigans. All right, now this is the big thing here, and that is here. Look here, the MACD on the daily is about to cross or reject. I think it has momentum to cross. Someone might say this is bearish divergence, and I'm like, okay, this RSI looks like a Head and Shoulders to me, and could hit 92 again, which was the last time it rejected. Currently the RSI is at 78. Okay, this is the October trend line. This is what it's all about. Okay, but there's other big trend lines. There's a trend line coming down here right now. It's not on this chart, but this is a huge level here, and in a and the reason we topped out there was, you know, that Thursday 2 weeks ago or whatever it was that we hit the trend line. Okay, and I expect that to happen again, but again, this next Friday, this is gonna be at, you know, SPY 450. Okay, so if we have a pullback before then and then go up there, chances of us hitting 450 are bigger than if we, you know, have an attempt on the trend line on, let's say, Wednesday. Okay, but again, it's rising all the time. And then another thing that speaks for, you know, that last 5-minute candle being, you know, shenanigans is the bold. It's been doing that thing again, which when it keeps doing this thing, that's bullish, right? Not always, but it is. Okay, so we have that covered. Another thing I wanted to show you again is the NAMO, the setups there. Here, you see, now we're over these two lines. We're heading back up. The MACD on it is curling. If we get across here, it's a very strong signal. Again, can reject, like, you know, it can do this too, but there seems to be momentum in the market, even though it's choppy as shit. Pre-election year seasonality says we go up. Our roadmap we played all year is a little more choppy. Says spike, pullback, spike, pullback, spike. This one has been amazing. So I'm more inclined to trust this just because of the feel of the market right now. It's very choppy, as you see, which I've said, you kind of have to pick your target, go out the money, and sit there instead of, crying about your theta. Now I'm going to show you a few more interesting ones. And this is pretty awesome. So what this shows is, obviously, when you pull back, you are risk off. And when you pump, like here and here and here, you risk on. We're still well in risk on territory. Again, just want to point this out if anybody is looking to short hard, which I'm not, because I rarely hold anything more than, a few days. Like this week that we just had, it was pretty obvious to me that we were going to go higher up into the end of the week, and with a big catalyst that we had, PCE coming down and CPI coming down and everything, and the Fed just paused. So we want to see we all know the data is complete bullshit, but that's what we want to see if you're playing, if you're on the bull side. You want those numbers to come down, because then, if they keep rolling off, I wouldn't be surprised that they roll off so much that the Fed says, okay, maybe one more hike this year, and then, we roll it out the next year or something like that. I'm not team like, and you can, I'm not even going to entertain putting words in my mouth, except now about talking about, pricing in and pricing in. The fact is, if the Fed hikes, next time the Fed hikes, 25 basis points, boom, that's a big pullback. Okay, so that whole pricing in thought, whatever. All right, next. Here's another really, really interesting thing. As you see, anytime this blue one spikes, we go up, and anytime the yellow one spikes, we go down. Blue one up and yellow one down, we spike. And during the pullback, we had a yellow spike, blue pulled back, and then the blue pumped again and the yellow pulled back. So again, I think that if you look at this broadly and not from a zero DTE perspective, especially this ES, you want ES and you want SPX and you want SPY on the 1 hour to hold the 21 at this point in time. So we'll be monitoring that. Obviously here you got the MACD coming. This could easily bounce, or you can have a pullback, and that pullback can last all the way to Wednesday, Thursday. That's why I said Thursday is very important. If we do pull back, I think Thursday is the pump. If we pump before that, I think Thursday is the pullback. Okay? I hope that is clear. And I'll be looking at, and let me pull this up here. Some of you know I'm in LMT here. And the funny thing, and all stocks react different, and they, you can't compare UPST to SPY, for instance. But, for instance, LMT closed at 460, but then last second, boom, price goes up $1.50. Okay, so I'm in this because I think that this makes it all the way up to 466 pre-ER, and then we might get a pullback to these levels, and then it shoots up because they've been doing pretty good business. I'm in SQ for a Lotto, and I'll show you why. And it's not because of the TTM squeeze, because that looks like we're ready for a pullback, but it's the RSI and the MACD setup. I'm thinking, you know, if you zoom out a little bit, you might even argue that this is a head and shoulders setup, and we could have a, you know, run at the gap if we pump this week. I'm obviously in these long spies. As you know, I'm still in 447. I'm still in 450. You know, I'm in there. So I've obviously taken a lot of profit from that on Friday. But I'll be adding and selling and so forth. Had great success with NVIDIA this week. Let's look at that here on the hourly. Same type of thing. You could argue a type of head and shoulders. I still am gonna have a attempt at the gap. If we pump this, we'll see 430, and it can act kind of irrational. The market can go sideways and down, and this can pump. Obviously, this had, you know, Biden came out and we went down, you know, with his whole China flex, and anybody who thinks that that's actually gonna happen needs to reassess. But you know, something for, you know, the bears, the market risk that I look at has increased big time. It's very elevated. So we are coming up on a pullback. But not that it's always on the money, but it gives the range, and it gave me in Q2, the JPM caller gave me the confidence to map out the roadmap that obviously played out. So I kind of use it as more of a directional tool than, you know, exactly on the money. But here's the next caller. So they got 4,665, and then their put is 4,210. Now, yeah, they got the short put, but you know, that's if we get nuclear war. You know, we're not going to see this number. So this is your range for Q3, and the point is, if we hit close to this early on, you know, we know that. And again, it's not going to be a straight line, obviously, but hold on. Come on, where are you, man? Here you are. But as you can see, we always get the August pump, and September and October we get the decline. So if we see, let's say, 460 on SPY either in July or then August, that's where you can play your puts if you want to go long out. I already showed that. What else am I in? Oh yeah, but this is just a small lotto. And I know Kathy sold Tesla, and she's a great Tesla trader. But they've been doing pretty good numbers in China, and the setup here. I mean, again, cup and handle. I do think we're gonna I don't know when, but Tesla is gonna retest 300 and then 313. I mean, it's going to, and the setup here is pretty nice. And if you look at the MACD, it's pulling back, but again, it switched color there, so it could go. I'm not saying that Tesla can easily next week on bad numbers see 246. Okay, that's why I took a lotto size, just because the market has momentum. As far as Apple, I mean, clearly it's its own thing now, and it's a complete bear destroyer. It's been pumping since through 177, you know, but as you can see, it's been choppy, so it's not an easy play. But Apple, I mean, you can't be in a bear market when Apple is up where it's at. Okay. All right, here we go. So then I want to show you this. All right, so price dropped off a little bit, but there was a lot of calls coming in as far as the market flow. Same on SPY. This is the overall market. You know, in the close, we had a lot of calls coming in. Okay, So keep that in mind again, okay? And then let me show you one more thing. But I mean, I post that all the time. But yeah, let's check out the flow trade thing. Ding, 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 ding. All right, we got the minute. We're gonna put this on the 1 minute. So as you see again, you know, they bought it, then they sold it, but then they came in at the end there, which to me, you know, flow and DP is different. But then if you look on the flow on the 50-minute, you know, they're still heavily in here playing this market. There's that ghost candle, okay? They're still heavily in here. Obviously they cut all their calls at the end there, but there was DP buying too. So that data is kind of inconclusive. And then let me pull up one more thing here before we wrap it up. I don't know, sometimes my visible range profile just drops out of sight. But there's you know, there is not a lot of support here, obviously, because it's a fluff market. The support is more down here. You know, 436.38 is a huge level, as you can see here, and it's clearly showing it to you. The smart money contracts were overextended. I do think we see the 21 again. Conclusion of this video is that's where we, you know, load up pretty much. Anything else that I see, I might do a secondary video to this video late, you know, Sunday. If not, then I'll do a daily recap on Monday. Hopefully this gives you kind of a framework for the next week. I'll be again looking at QQQ, SPY, UPST, Carvana, Meta, Netflix. Netflix has a nice setup. Nvidia, but mostly I'm going to be playing SPY, because if we can nail a run again far out the money, that's great money. I'll be scalping daily movers and stuff like that, but I'll have my core position is going to be SPY. Why SPY? SPY has way more room. Let me just show you. SPY has way more room to the upside. See that? Nice. There's a bunch of upside right there. I've got to make this smaller. But as you all know, we played the QQQ run up, so there's more to get here, in my opinion, than QQQ. And looking at the calls and what they call, you know, I think I have a few, but like price wise, QQQ's, you know, QQQ's 380s are, you know, then we're gunning for all-time high, you know, territory. Can that happen? Sure. I mean, 466 is not too far off, you know, 480 on SPY. So we'll see. We'll see. I do think that the US needs it to go high. And when you're in all-time high territory and you have some people telling you that it's a bear market rally, I would, for your sake, just unfollow those people. Are we gonna go lower? Yes, but I don't think we see, you know, 360, 370, 380, 390 even very soon. There's no reason. This market has been hit with so much bad economic data and, you know, reality, and the market has nothing to do with each other. So unless you can't grasp that, I don't know what to say. But trading wise, it's a good time to trade. As you can see, for those of you who have been trading with me for a while, this is where I call the bottom at 374, and now we are at 443. All right, cool. Before I go, lengthy video, this is your 10-year yield. I would expect it to reject very, very soon, just based on this trend line. US oil, I know that the government needs to buy oil next week, so I might take some Oxy. We'll see. BTC over 30, great, don't care. The Dixie, it's bear flagging. So I would expect that to come down even more. And I hope SPY doesn't follow it, because, you know, as you know, it's been a little, either it follows it or it doesn't. You know, the old Dixie down, oil up, SPY up, 10-year yield down thing doesn't work really in this market. That's why I refer to it as a new market. It's a new thing. It's not a bull market. It's not a bear market. It's 2023 full shit show type of market. Okay? Anyway, God bless. Glad to be back here on the train full time. Thanks to Doug for helping me out while I was traveling. And let's get it next week. And if the setup's not there, I'm not going to take anything. When I see the setup, we play. Next time I see a directional change in the market, I hope you'll be there with me. Because frankly, yes, we can scalp all day long. But those directional moves that we get, you know, once or twice a month, those are the big money makers. Anyway, God bless. Love yourself. Love your family. And let's ride on Monday, even though it's a half day.